Hey, Angelique, how you doing? All right, got your post up here. I just want to make a quick comment. I see that you submitted on Sunday. If you take a look at some of my notes in the weekly announcements, I'm kind of encouraging students to try to post their critique work early in the week, Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. That way I can get comments back to you in case you missed something. I can get comments back to you so you can repost Sundays with everything intact. Do you see what I'm saying? So in case you missed something, you will have covered that and added it by Sunday's post. If you wait till Sunday to post, you are looking at the situation that you're going to end up posting the same post for your critique that you are for your final weekly submission, not giving you a chance to employ some of the comments and recommendations from your classmates as well as your instructor. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So again, moving forward, I recommend that you post as early as possible so that you can apply those comments to your final post for the week, as well as having a good head start to apply those comments moving forward in the project. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the work. We've got user-centered design process. Let's go ahead and jump in. What is the purpose? So instead of going straight to the purpose, I recommend defining the problem. Okay, so you define the problem, then you can introduce the app as a solution to that problem or a purpose, so to speak. Okay, so what you would have to define the problem first of all, first and foremost, is defining the problem. So what problem exists in this particular situation? You're saying that those individuals who don't have the opportunity to cook for whatever reason get home from work and the current apps are all too expensive. So we want to introduce this app that allows individuals to order food from pre-selected categories for delivery in an affordable context. So you definitely have to define the problem, then introduce how the application is going to rectify the problems associated with those definitions. Okay, name, fast eats, purpose, deliver food, any participating restaurant, anyone's home or office. Okay, good. Now, let's go ahead and jump to target audience and personas. So target audience this is target audience, but this is really, really super underdefined. And the persona is something that would take on a different context than this. And I'll explain that in 1 second. This looks like it's a placed graphic, and I would recommend developing your own logo for this. The reason I say it looks like a placed graphic is because it's a little pixelated. So I'm guessing that that was a found graphic that was placed. And I would recommend developing a logo for Fast Eats and using that as some of your supporting graphics. Okay, target audience. And now look, I want to draw your attention to this area of the class. This is just the main layout, right? This is the preview view of the class. And I'm going to click down back to week 1, all the way back to project 1, user-centered design process begin stage. Now, if I click that open, we go all the way down to the bottom. You see this link right here. That's the example of a example of a work from a previous student. So definitely use that to your benefit. So if I open that up, this is what I have. Remember this. Let me just get to the. Remember this. This is the process book for this student's project, and the reason this is here is because it's fantastic. It's done very, very, very well. And what I want to do is I want to draw your attention over to, here's a statement of interest. Here's the influences. We've got influences, abstract, which defines the problem, a statement of interest, which defines and introduces the app as a solution. And then we have influences, previous influences. But I want to get to is definitely go through this page by page so you can get some great ideas. What I want to do is I want to jump over to our target audience area, which is right here. And as you can see, we've got 3 very well developed and detailed description of the target audience. So right now you're just saying anybody ages 18 to 45, but we really want to dissect that target audience to its minutia. So really drill down and get the minute details of the target audience. For example, are they single or are they married? Do they have kids? If so, how many? Where do they live? Are they apartment dwellers or are they do they live in households? Are they inner city or are they rural? I mean, obviously it makes sense that they're closest to a city because if you live in rural Nebraska, there's not a chance that somebody's going to be delivering food Do you see what I'm saying? If it's 30 miles away. So really, really want to drill down and get all of those details in place. And the reason this is relevant is because you want to apply the details from your target audience to your personas. This isn't a persona per se. This is more of a scenario. So we have target audience. We use the target audience to develop personas. We do use personas to develop scenarios. Let me describe that a little bit. So your target audience, what you would do is you would describe, you would establish at least, I'm going to recommend 3 personas. And the persona is basically the description of an individual user within the target audience, including all of their habits. Let me show you these. Here's the target audience for this. Now let me show you the personas. Here's the personas. Lucy is a creative child, age 6. She's female. This is her motivation. Okay, that's a persona. Now we use these personas. Now you can take this persona and create a scenario by saying, let me see. Let me bring up a different scenario here. This is Stephen's work and it's excellent. So let's just jump over here. And here is, okay, hold on 1 second. Sorry, okay, so as we can see, here's the description. Okay, note how detailed it is. What does it do? App features. What's in the name? This is talking about the name. Demographics. Who's buying? Time well spent. What's the cost? So really getting into some research here. And who are they? These are your personas. Okay, note that each one is very, very detailed. And then we take our personas and we create scenarios out of the personas. So we could take this particular individual and create a scenario. Okay, so again, you use the target audience to establish the personas. You use the personas to establish the scenarios. Okay, and then you can sketch out a storyboard for the scenarios. These are great because here's 2 scenarios, and I love the way that Stephen brought this down to scenario 1 without the app and scenario 1 with the app. These are fantastic. And again, these are in Stephen's submission, so you can take a look at these in the critique area. Yeah, this is fantastic. So again, so you're going to establish your persona. Now your persona again is established from the target market, right? So you really, really want to take a look at this area here for the establishment of your personas. And note that this designer also created task flows based on the persona. So in other words, here's the persona. Now we take the task flow, and this persona, depending on what they want to do in the persona, is how we create this task flow. And she even mapped out the task flows. So this is really complete. Okay, next we have your scenarios. These scenarios are good. Again, you've got these without and with application. I think this is fantastic. This is really a good job. The one thing I would say is, okay, yeah, scenarios are good. Okay, then you have your sketches of your, now these sketches, now don't forget, these are pretty casual sketches that you can use for your prototype, your paper prototype, but these sketches, your wireframes should be in, I mean, you can sketch them out, but if you can see, this is a really great presentation for wireframes digitally. And the reason I say this is relevant is because it will really bring the presentation to a much more professional level than just including the sketches for your wireframes. So that said, you're not required to create digital wireframes, but I recommend it for presentation sake. Sketches would be fine. So you've got your sketches of your screens, and then you have your paper prototypes. That's fantastic. A couple of things. Now you're going to use these paper prototypes to do your user testing, right? So what you do is you have your test subject sitting down, and you would say, okay, now based on what you see here, where would you click to log in? They would click the section to log in, and then you would replace this screen with this screen, okay, and say, okay, now show me how to log in. And then they would, you could show them a keyboard, they would type, and they would show their name and their password, right? Then you come over and then you say, then you present another question, okay, now how would you do this or this? And then have them make choices. If they make the correct choice, you change the screen. Okay, you replace the screen and ask your next question. If they make the wrong choice, you record that, get that data down, write it down so that you can make adjustments and also describe that in a synopsis of your user testing. Okay, a couple of things I want to address here. So homepage, simple introduction page. The user testing, you want to use, here's a user usability. So this particular process book doesn't show images, pictures, or videos of the actual user testing phase, but it does include the tasks that are being asked of each test subject. So these tasks would be presented to the test subject. The test subject would either get it right or get it wrong. If they get it wrong, you record their actions, get that data, and use that data to create changes in your prototypes, and then show those prototypes to another user test subject, and hopefully they will not make the same mistake the first one made. And that's how user testing develops into a functional prototype that you use to create the app, okay? One thing I did want to mention over here is this, is that the person can scroll through the restaurants and select the one they want. They will be taken to the restaurant menu. I think it would be probably, I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference here between, okay, so you Google the name of a restaurant, you go to their menu, you pick what you want, you call them and have them deliver it, right? If they deliver, right? But the app, I think it would be a little more advantageous to maybe, instead of isolating these by breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would say if I were using this app, I would have them separated by categories of food. Okay, so let's say I'm dinner, I've got a hankering for Mexican. Instead of searching through restaurants that have Mexican dishes, let's just create a category that says Mexican. That way I can select Mexican and I can go to all of these dishes Mexican, select the dish I want, and that will take me to the restaurant. Do you see what I'm saying? This way, it's easier to decide what you want to eat as opposed to going to restaurants, seeing what they have, and then selecting. Do you see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. And then I just want to say, once the person goes over there, take it. Okay. Summary, make sure the information is correct, including the address. Yes, yes. The last screen will be a thank you, and here they can sign up. Well, wait a second. Why would they sign up after they've already completed all of the tasks? Wouldn't you sign up early? Wouldn't you sign up and become a member of this app? Wouldn't you do that early, like the first step as opposed to the last step? I think that would make more sense. Okay, at this point, let's see what's due for Sunday submission, which I know it's Tuesday, but this is what was due Sunday. And moving forward, this is what, okay, so far in your process book, you should have ideation, including the target audience, the 3 main functions for the app, the competitors, including pros and cons. And I just want to show you this presentation of competitors right here. This is wonderful. We got 5 pages of comparative analysis for different, for competitive, giving the pros, the cons, and also describing the merits of functionality and features, visual design, and usability. So again, there's 5 different different comparative analyses here. So that's fantastic. Okay, so then you have competitors. Again, you have established personas in at least 1 scenario. I recommend 2 scenarios. I'm sorry, I recommend 2 personas, and excuse me. I recommend at least 3 personas and 2 scenarios. The 3 personas should be completely different. Like one could be an older single person, one could be a younger couple in their 20s, and one could be a professional that's stuck in the office late at night. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, then you have your wireframes and sketches, vols, storyboards, and scenarios. I didn't see, well, yeah, we did see storyboards. And then create, so yeah, I mean, you've got a good portion of what we need, but I just got a couple of things missing. And I'm over 13 minutes, pushing 14. Didn't want to do that, want to cut it short, but I want to be as completely thorough as possible. Moving forward, if you have any questions at all, please let me know, and I'll be glad to make any clarifications that are needed. All right. Thank you very much. And again, really important. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.